In 1985, Alison Bechdel made a cartoon that featured two women who are about to go to the movies. One of them says she decides what to watch based on three simple criteria. Are there at least two female characters? Do they have names? And do they talk to each other about anything other than a man? This was later dubbed the Bechdel Test. It may be fairly recent, but it can still be used to judge classic films. Keep watching to learn about old Hollywood movies that shockingly pass the Bechdel Test. Classic Disney films that pass. Cinderella never said she wanted to go to the ball to meet the prince, so her conversations about it don't make the film fail the test. She also has conversations with her stepmother and stepsisters who do have names. They talk about topics such as how hard they're making her work. Sleeping Beauty features three sassy fairies, Flora, Fauna, and Merryweather. They have several conversations with each other and the title character, whose name is Aurora. Peter Pan passes thanks to several female conversation scenes. Wendy talks to her mother, Mary, and Tiger Lily, the Indian chief's daughter. The Rescuers features a female villain named Madame Medusa. Orphan girl Penny talks with her several times, such as when she asks her to go back to the orphanage so she can get adopted. Female mouse Miss Bianca also tells Penny she's come to rescue her. Robin Hood squeaks in terms of passing the test. It has a single scene where Maid Marian and Lady Cluck speak during a game of badminton. A Doll's House. This 1974 film proves you shouldn't judge a movie by its title. Along with the play it's based on, it's considered to be a portrayal of women's rights and feminism. There are several named female characters in the movie, including Nora and Christine. They may talk about men more than once, but they also discuss other topics such as their work. Cabaret. This 1972 film proves that a film about scantily clad dancers can still pass the Bechdel test. Two of them, Sally and Natalie, focus most of their conversations on a man named Fritz, but they also discuss other topics such as the English language. Death Race 2000. This dystopian race movie passes the test thanks to one small scene. There's a moment where reporter Grace Pander interviews female racers Matilda the Hun and Calamity Jane Kelly, who then begin to argue about who will win. Fahrenheit 451. This film was released in 1966 and is based on the Ray Bradbury novel from 1953. It's a dystopian tale of a world where all books are burned and society can only get its information through pictures or television. The women aren't exactly feminist icons, but they do have conversations about more than men. The Umbrellas of Cherbourg. This toned-down musical from 1964 has several named characters, including the lead, Genevieve, her mother, Madame Amory, and Madeline. They have conversations about topics other than men, including their failing store. It's a Mad, Mad World. This chase movie from 1963 has three main female characters and women in several other minor roles. It could pass the Bechdel test even if it only had Mrs. Marcus and her daughter Emmeline discussing how they're going to recover the loot after their heist. Whatever happened to Baby Jane? If there were an anti-Bechdel test that judged whether or not there were any named male characters who spoke to each other, this 1962 film would fail it. The men are side characters and do almost nothing. The female leads deliver all but 40 lines in the film. They almost always talk about more than the men in their life. Invasion of the Body Snatchers. This 1956 alien invasion movie is based on the 1955 novel by Jack Finney. It passes all three parts of the test because the women in it are too focused on staying alive to worry about men. Becky and her cousin Wilma have a conversation, and Becky and Teddy have a group conversation later. The 1978 remake also passes the test.
Let's talk about the sponsor for today's video, Aura. Aura is an all-in-one solution to protect you from identity theft online. It includes identity theft protection, fraud monitoring, a VPN, password management, and antivirus software, all wrapped up into one easy-to-use app. If you're not using every single one of these tools to protect yourself, you're going to have a weak spot. It's like making sure your front door is locked, but leaving your back door wide open for intruders. Aura continuously monitors the dark web for any of your personal information, and they'll send you an alert the moment they find anything. I was shocked to find out that several of my login credentials were found on the dark web, and I wouldn't have known this without Aura. If you're active online, it's nearly impossible to protect all of your personal information unless you're using a tool like Aura. This is exactly why there are so many victims of cybercrime and identity theft. In fact, identity theft is so common, there's a new victim every 14 seconds. That means at least 3 people have had their identity stolen since I started talking about Aura in this video. So if you want to protect yourself and your family from identity theft, go to aura.com/factsverse. By visiting this URL or clicking the link in the description, you can get a 14-day free trial of Aura and start getting protection today.
Gentlemen prefer blondes. This film knows that diamonds are a girl's best friend, not men. The Marilyn Monroe star vehicle is perfect for anyone who wants to watch a classic that passes the Bechdel test. Conversations that have nothing to do with men include the one where Dorothy and Lorelai talk about geography and travel destinations. The movie even inspired a feminist essay called Pretext and Text in Gentlemen Prefer Blondes by Lucy Arbuthnot and Gail Seneca. Some Like It Hot. This film from 1959 also stars Marilyn Monroe and passes the test. Is famous for having two male characters who dress up as women and experience what it's like for them. The movie also has conversations between actual women. One scene features a trombone player named Dolores who asks her band conductor why she has to stay in the same room as Marilyn's character, Sugar. Singing in the Rain. This 1952 musical phenomenon includes at least 3 named female characters, Kathy, Lena, and Zelda. They talk to each other several times. Most of the conversations are about their careers. The Searchers. This famous Western is one of the few that passed the test. It squeaks by with a conversation between Martha and her daughter Lucy. Before we tell you more, be sure to give this video a like and subscribe to Factsverse if you haven't already. Cat on a Hot Tin Roof. This film from 1958 features 3 named female characters, Maggie, May, and Big Mama Pollitt. They discuss something related to a man, but not in a romantic way. What they want is a piece of his inheritance. Rear Window. Alfred Hitchcock may have a reputation for harassing women, but he did include strong female characters in his stories. The female lead of Rear Window may primarily talk about her boyfriend Jeff with the nurse Stella, but they also have other conversations. The Man Who Knew Too Much. This 1934 film is similar to Rear Window in several ways. It was directed by Hitchcock, stars Jimmy Stewart, and passes the Bechdel test. What sets it apart is that it has even better female representation. Jill and her daughter Betty have several conversations that have nothing to do with men. National Velvet. This 1955 film was one of Elizabeth Taylor's first. She played Velvet Brown, who wants to become a jockey. One of the most notable scenes is when her mother, Edwina, tells her about the dreams that she had as a girl. Gentlemen Prefer Blondes may have sparked an essay, but Elizabeth Taylor's career, including her work on this film, has inspired entire books. The Great Dictator. This 1940 Chaplin piece is remembered for its final speech by a man, but it also has conversations between women. Many characters are simply known as blonde secretary or Jewish woman, but it also has named female roles such as Hannah, Miss Jackal, and Madame Napoleone. The Shop Around the Corner. This film from 1940 inspired You've Got Mail in 1988. It may be a romance, but it has female characters who talk about more than the men in their life. Instead, they often discuss the beautiful items they've acquired. Flora compliments Ilona's silver fox and comments on Clara's beautiful blouse, and Flora and Clara talk about her present from her boyfriend. Imitation of Life. This 1934 film tells the story of Beatrice and Delilah. One of them is white and one is black. They get into business together and have daughters. Beatrice's daughter is light enough to pass for white, bringing up even more conflict. Almost none of the conversations in this film revolve around men. It's a serious piece about race and what it means to be a woman in business. The Wizard of Oz and the Wiz. Almost everyone has seen this masterpiece from 1939. The book it's based on was written during the first wave of feminism, and that may be why it features so many female characters. There's a conversation between 2 women near the beginning of the film when Auntie Em tells Dorothy she can't listen to her stories because she's busy counting chickens. It only continues from there, with Dorothy talking to other powerful women such as Glinda and the Wicked Witch. The Wiz debuted in theaters in 1978 and is based on both the original book and movie. It shakes things up with more conversations and detail, but still holds to the heart of its inspiration, and it passes the Bechdel test with flying colors. Now it's time to hear from you. Which of these movies was most surprising to hear pass the Bechdel test? Let us know in the comments section below. And before you go, make sure you give this video a like and subscribe to Factsverse if you haven't already. Click the bell icon to stay updated on all our latest content.